Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of the brand new album from Dream Theater, Distance Over Time. The time has finally come for us to check out Dream Theater. This is kind of a hot topic between us together. This is a band that actually got me into metal in the first place, and I've tried to sell this band to you multiple times, couldn't really click with you.
Yeah.
But now they finally got the new album. They did release 2 singles from it, Untethered Angel and Fall Into the Light, which I thought had some promise to them. What are your thoughts?
I had some mixed feelings, but leaning more towards the negative. As you said, you've tried to get me into this band many times. Even before you tried to get me into them, I tried getting into this band many times, and they just don't click with me. I respect the band. I know they're icons in the music industry, and they very talented musicians, etc., etc. But I have not really sat down with a full album and really soaked it in before, and that's what we're gonna do. So, without further ado, we're gonna go listen to the album for the first time in its entirety, and we'll be back in just a moment to let you know our first impressions. So stay put.
Alright guys, we just finished listening to Distance Over Time for the very first time in its entirety, and I have to say that this album was very good. I was seriously impressed. As a Dream Theater fan, this album felt like something totally original, but I also caught a bunch of things that reminded me of other albums. So it felt like just its own entity on its own, but still had the personality of Dream Theater, which I found amazing. And I'm gonna start by talking about my favorite song in the album, track number 2, Paralyzed. I thought this song was just incredible. Like, the riff is so mean, but it's not as rhythmically technical as I thought it would be.
Yep.
Which is kind of a theme throughout the album. It has a bunch of technical moments, but a lot of the riffing is just straight ahead, and it sounds great.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things about this song is the vocals. James LaBrie sounded great on this song, and there was a lot of emotion. That was the problem I had when I listened to Untethered Angel. When that song was released, there was no emotion in it. It sounded just like a generic LaBrie performance, and it was just really like falling flat. But on Paralyzed is when there was a lot of life in it, and I loved that. That's what completed it. Because Untethered Angel was a good song musically.
Yeah.
Like, the instruments are all great. It was just his vocals that kind of dragged that down. So if we improve the vocals, you get Paralyzed, which is just good on all fronts.
I agree.
Just completely fantastic.
Yep.
I also want to talk about track number 6, S2N. Once again, the riffing. The riffing, I wrote on almost every single song how great it was.
Yeah.
But, just interesting rhythmic sections, really cool chorus, a cool ending. I saw, like, what perhaps was a Rush reference in there musically, like when they started hitting shots and then just suddenly stopping, sounded like By Tor and the Snow Dog. But, yeah, like that was also just a wild song. So I felt like a lot of just things coming out of these guys musically from this album.
The end of that song specifically, like the last 2 minutes of S2N was dope.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was like these raunchy riffs with like soloing going over top. And yeah, LaBrie sounded awesome in that song too. It's like his vocals kind of went like up and down to me. Some songs he sounded like amazing, usually with the help of a little vocal effects here and there, which is fine. I don't mind that. But then there's songs like Untethered Angel, which is probably where he sounds the worst. I think it was a bad idea to put that as their first single. But he just sounds like he's just trying too hard and not succeeding at what he's trying to do in that song. But other songs, he sounds much cleaner, much more refined, much more in control, and I really like that aspect of it too. Yeah, so you named a couple songs that I like too. I like those ones as well, but the song that stood out to me the most was actually the last official song in the album, because there was a bonus track, but Pale Blue Dot was my highest rated song. The music kicks in, this song just rocks. Like a lot of these songs just rock. They have these rockin' kind of just almost Black Sabbath-y style, like I'm feeling like Tony Iommi riffs coming through this, and that's a good thing to me. Like I love that, those old school, almost simplified riffs, but with just like high technical spin on them. There's this, towards the middle / end of the song, there was this 6 scale part where the guitars are going up and down. The drums are doing like crazy solos with 500 beats per roll. Exaggeration, obviously. but it's just going nuts, and then all of a sudden it busts right back into this groove, and just, you got syncopation all over the place. It's just, you know, I love my syncopation, but a lot of the times when you listen to a band like this and you know it's coming, it's like, it just kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit. But this song specifically, I was just like, it was just happening in such a random pattern that I was like, ah yes, it's throwing me off. And I liked that. I liked that I wasn't able to predict what was happening, which most of the other songs I was kind of predicting the patterns very easily, even though they were syncopated. But
I just wanted to mention about that song how crazy everything got partway through. Like when the bridge hit, everything just went nuts, and I really love that. How it's just full cannons blasting you right in the face.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like the whole album they were like loading the bases, and at that point they needed to hit a grand slam, and they fucking went for it and just went ham and hit that home run, because the song starts off really slow. There's like some talk. No, what is it? It was like astronaut noises.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you hear like an astronaut talking through his comms or whatever, something like that. And then yeah, the song busts into some crazy like raunchy riffs and shit, and you know, then it goes on this crazy chaotic adventure.
Really good for being the last track as well.
Yeah, like it closes with a bang, right? And then of course you got the bonus track after that. Which, by the way, the bonus track, we don't include it in our official ratings because it's a bonus track, but we can still talk about it.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was a good song.
It surprised me. I would never expect Dream Theater to do like a bluesy shuffle like that. That was
again weird. I got the Sabbath vibes. Sabbath does a lot of bluesy stuff, so I got the Sabbath vibes, the Tony Iommi vibes from that song. I was trying to figure out the scale of that song because I couldn't tell if it was a major scale or a minor scale.
Sounded like kind of like a major blues to me.
I think it's a major blues scale. Yeah, I think it's a major blues scale. But it's like, I don't know, it is whatever. I mean, that doesn't really whatever.
Cool song though.
It was a cool song, yeah. A nice little bonus track. I'm just wondering why they called it a bonus track and it's not an official track on the album. That's kind of weird. But another song I want to talk about is track number 7, At Wit's End. Now, I felt like the song started off strong. It had some cool riffs at the beginning, like most of the songs did. The first whole half of the song was really strong, I felt. Yeah. Then it goes into this calm part, you know, calm vocal part, piano playing, which a lot of the songs did. They kind of broke it down for like a bridge type of section.
Yeah.
But the second half of the song didn't pick back up again. What it did is it just kind of stayed on this flat level, and then there was like a 2-minute fade out. But then that's what we thought. But then all of a sudden, after a minute of fading, it went silent. And I'm like, okay, it's like a minute of silence, what's this? Then all of a sudden, after like 10 or 20 seconds, it picked, like guitars come back in. It's like this whimsical like Disney World music.
Like it was in a cathedral or something.
Some cathedral shit with marching drums and stuff like that.
It's hilarious.
And then it fades out again.
It fades.
That was the most bizarre outro of a song I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's
like it just
weird.
Yeah, like their creativity is there. Like they're obviously trying to think outside the box and be fresh with their ideas and stuff like that. But you gotta understand sometimes when something just doesn't work. And that's an example of something that doesn't work. Like, it didn't flow very well for me, but you know what, maybe when we listen to it more, maybe we'll kind of get it more because we know what to expect now.
Yeah.
When you can't hear it for the first time, it might catch us off guard and we might be like, what the hell is that? You know, maybe with more listens it might make more sense.
I do want to mention though, the second half, like breaking it down, having that calm part, I feel like it was warranted for how awesome the first half was. If you take a song like Fall Into the Light, it didn't feel like that quiet part really should have been there.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what happens in a big, epic song, and Fall Into the Light didn't feel like it had enough energy to warrant that, for me.
Yeah, I even wrote a note on Fall Into the Light that it has a long, boring, unnecessary bridge, but also that it leads into a cool keyboard solo.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a payoff for the boring part, but you can always do without the boring part or even cut it down. Like, don't have it so long. But I mean, whatever. That's small beans, I think.
Yeah, the soloing on this album was great. All the John Petrucci and Jordan Rudess solos were just amazing. Just wild, crazy, and really organic at times too, and I like that.
What did you think of, let's talk about song number 8, Out of Reach, which was the ballad.
You know, it didn't really stand out to me as something amazing, but I did not think it was bad.
Yeah.
And I really like how much it built up to, by the end when you have the chorus, it's the full band, you know, the drums are in there, and you can really feel like the full structure of the song, and I like how it built up that way, like from the ground up.
That was one of my favorite vocal performances by James LaBrie on that song, mostly in part because there was a really cool effect on his voice in that song that just made him sound really cool. but I can't remember if it was that song or there was another kind of slow-ish type of song where the drums were just a little bit too hard. Remember I mentioned that during the listening? I was like, these drums sound way too hard for what this song is presenting.
I think that may have been Barstool Warrior.
Barstool
which was track
Warrior?
number 4.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, I did write a note. Drums sound too hard, don't suit the tone of the song.
Yeah,
so
it's a very
the tone
lighthearted
of the song is lighthearted, but the drums are like hit, like he's just smashing these drums, and there's like triplet rolls on the double bass and all this stuff, you know, after the end of every bar or whatever. It just seemed like there was too much drum action going on and nothing else was matching that action. Like the drum was trying to shine a lot and nothing else was, you know, rising up to that same bar. It wasn't bad, but it just seemed like a little bit of imbalance to me.
Yeah, I really did like the ending of that song though, with how like big and open it was and how emotional it was. Like thinking about it, it could be I wrote in my notes that this would be a good ending to the album. But then when we actually got to the ending of the album with Pale Blue Dot, I'm like, you know what? That song's totally fine at the ending because of how crazy it went.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, we got lots more. Now, we could talk about this probably for a long time because there's a lot of content on here. I'm gonna say right off the bat that I like this a lot more than I thought I was going to on a first impression, so I'm happy, I'm hopeful for the week. But we're gonna listen to this album non-stop all week long as much as we can, soak it in, and we'll be back in a week to give you guys our full and final review of Distance Over Time by Dream Theater. You guys, please like the video, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and guess what? We're less than 500 away from 10,000 subscribers, so make sure if you guys are new, hit that subscribe button, help us get to 10K. Leave a comment below and let us know what you guys think of this album. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Keep them heads banging.